plan for today, very, very simple. We're going to have to wait for some type of pullback in the market. I mean, you just can't have you can't have a 500-point gap on the start of the week and just like start shredding. So what we're going to need to do is just wait for a little bit of a pull. The list that we made in the Sunday huddle obviously has just gone, has gone bonkers. So, oh man, we're getting right at all-time highs here. Now, normally if this was a stock, we would say like this is a double top, but that's probably more than 1 or 2 days worth of resistance. Probably not going to happen. The trend is just higher right now, and it's really hard to fight it. So we're going to have to, we're going to have to play this a little bit different today. But there's some earnings plays out here that we're going to be able to shred. So let's take a look and see what stocks have some news out. One thing to remember is even if the market is gapping up like 500, 600 points, that if you have stocks that have like fresh news out or fresh earnings out, those stocks are going to move irregardless to what's happening in the market. So just this one, like this is a biotech stock over here, pivotal study, skeletal muscle disorder, blah, 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 right? Whatever. It looks pretty good. You got a nice breakout over here. It's only $3 billion market cap, so that's really in the sweet spot of market cap. It might be a foreign stock. I'm not sure. It looks like it's a European stock. So they will move a little bit more wonky than, good old-fashioned USA stock. But I think this one's got a chance. You got a nice trend here. It's only about a 2-year-old company. Those are usually the good sweet spots of that's like a good sweet spot of what's working in this market right now. So I'd add that to the list. NVAX, man, this thing's just on a monster trend, huh? Had some stars, patient enrollment for study and COVID, blah, blah, blah. Look, this thing is, the trend is higher on this one. It's already fading off a good chunk of the gains, but that may not mean anything. It looks like the gap was right at about 52. So what you want, man, fucking TC 2000, change the fucking hotkeys on how to draw the trend lines. Now it's throwing me off all the time. Anybody else notice that? It's throwing me off. Now you gotta hit like Shift D or some shit instead of Control when you want to draw a trend line. So 52 is like kind of where the gap is and that came out in the morning. Now you're starting to hold there. If you hold there and start to build, I think you'll be good to go. But you just got to be, we're going to have to be real careful on this one. It's got to hold here. If it does, then, we'll let it build and play. The trend is higher on this. How high does it go? Who knows, right? It's already come a long way on really the same news. So we'll just have to kind of keep this thing. We're going to have to keep this thing on watch. But the key is 52. If it holds 52, we're good. If it doesn't, we'll just leave this thing alone. Yeah, cruise lines are popping up too. Hold on. Let me grab some coffee. I'll give you guys fair warning. I was on my boat all day yesterday. I may not be as quick as I normally am. I was on my boat all day yesterday. I may have oversunned myself. Yeah, let me get a little face creams on here. Even worse, man, I passed out. I'm like an old man now. I passed out like 8 p.m. I'm still feeling hungover. How's that possible? I miss the days where you could be out till 4 in the morning and shake it off like a man. Now it's like I'm going to sleep at 8 p.m. because I drank a couple of Miller Lights on a boat and it was too sunny. Getting older stinks. If any of you guys are in your 20s, make an obscene amount of money. That's the best time to make money, is in your 20s. Make an obscene amount of money. Have relations with an incredible amount of women's, good-looking women's, not good-looking women's, big women's, little women's. It doesn't even matter. Just if you're walking down the street and you can shred, just shred. That's the best way to do it. Because one day you'll be in your 30s, you have enough money to buy yourself a nice boat. You'll go out for 2 hours, drink 3 beers and be hungover, and then wonder why all these chicks that are running around popping tops, you weren't partaking and getting handsy, and it's because you're already plowed after a couple beers. That just ain't cool, right? That just ain't cool. So whatever you do, and I count your 20s, so usually your 20s, you're really in your 20s till about age 35. So in your 20s, I say in your 20s, that's about till age 35. After that, it's all a wash. Your life is over. Your life is over. Your hair is gone. Your hangovers are worse. But man, in your 20s, you shred and make money. Shred and make money. If you can do both at the same time, it's even better, man. I mean, especially for traders. Because, when you're younger, you can trade boozed up and you can do anything you need to. But when I was living in Costa Rica, I'd be drinking Sailor Jerry's while I was trading. And it'd be just epic, man. I'd have senoritas hanging out, drinking pounded Sailor Jerry's, throwing out breakout stocks. It was incredible. Now, now I got a cough and my throat is dry because I drank 4 beers yesterday. Go fucking figure. Fucking life. What a scam, right? What a scam. Where's the fountain of youth pill? Alright, sorry for that. Just a little life advice. I don't just give stock advice, I give life advice. Alright. Look, all these airlines, cruise lines, they're all cruising up. Yeah, you know what? I would add some of these, but they're up 11%, right? And that's tough. Who's going to buy Spirit Airlines up 11%? Not me, right? That's all Indians, we love Spirit Airlines. I got Spirit Airlines credit card here somewhere. I got 800,000 miles on it because I got so many miles, but the flight stinks, so I never use them. Go figure, right? This is nice. You got all these bottoming stocks. Frankly, this is probably a swing trade. There's going to be a couple of these. There's going to be a couple of these airlines that obviously survive. Also some of these cruise lines. And they're probably more swingers because they're really, they're still near lows. But they're up one day, down one day recently, and so they're not the easiest traders, but they're kind of more just you got still a ton of room to go. I'd keep a couple of these, all of these on, your watch list. But the thing is, you can't buy this NCLH, right? You can't chase this thing up 10% today, So it's at a sweet spot. It's getting into this kind of base break. I mean, the TC1000 changing these trend line things has really just perked my pickle. And you'll see me probably complaining, at least for the next 3 or 4 days, about this. The fact that they took the control button away. Why would anybody do that? What congressman do I have to write a letter to get this fixed? Right? This is nice, but you're going to need a tap back. I'd watch any kind of tap back. This thing pulls back in the 9 or 20 EMA. At the open, you're good to go. If it doesn't, leave it alone. Does that make sense? Good. Yeah, all these casinos, BYD, this is a nice breakout. Penn is on. I'm going to try shorting Penn again today. I know. I have to. It's a matter of honor right now. This thing is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. This thing's up 8 days in a row. It used to be $4. Man, you know what? I had a bunch of this shit down here too. It used to be $4. This thing is almost all the way back. Man, this thing is ready to go for a potential short. Just a day trade though. I wouldn't get too crazy with it. Just for a day trade. I think we still, take the shred down on that thing. What do you think? Anybody want to shred this pen? Cool. I really like this PDD. This thing was really nice mover yesterday. So like you pulled back to 20, it had earnings out yesterday. Like it filled its gap and just went bonkers. I would keep this on your watch list. This is probably top of the list in terms of stocks that are going to be good traders today. First dip on this one, it's only gap about 1%, so that's good. We need to find a couple stocks that are not like just shredding to the upside. I would add PDD to the list for a potential play. Number 2, SPLK. Man, I had this thing like literally for the ORB at the open. I had so many shares of this and I didn't hold it long enough, that's for sure. But this thing's got a pretty flat open to only about 1%. I think that this one's got a chance. If you look here, and guys, when you think about earnings breakouts, like when you think about like what makes like a good breakout, what makes like a good trend, right? So if you think about like what makes a good trend, this is how when I'm looking at like a potential stock, right? And you ever see like an earnings play that just moves so clean? You're like, oh wow, like it took its flag out and it broke again, and they move so picture clean. One of the things that helps a stock move really, really clean, when it gaps up like this and you have some level of earnings out, right? If it's breaking out to like all-time highs, that's very helpful because you don't have any level of supply overhead. If your float is, couple $100 million or less, that adds a lot of push to it too. As you'll get a higher range. 148 million float, that's fairly low for the most part for a $25 billion company. So you got all-time highs, then you got a fairly low float. You had a nice kind of volume in it and all that. But volume is very overrated as an indicator. And then it's a tech stock. So that's like that's your holy trifecta there, because tech stocks move the best. What is the US known for, right? It's not for, Appalachian coal anymore, right? It's for Google and Facebook and Amazons and stuff like that. So if it's tech, if the float is fairly low and you've got a clean breakout to all-time highs, that's a stock that it has to be like if you see that 3-piece right there, that has to be your focus for the whole day. Like you have to be really staring at it. And you may have to make 3 or 4, going back through my trades, I was like, man, I should have hit that more times. If you see that, you should hit it 3-4 times during that day and just keep hammering at it, because those are the ones that trend. Those are the ones that end up being like really nice. So just something to kind of be aware of when you're going through your gappers and stuff. Like that's what you want to focus on. That's your holy trinity right there if you see that. And the fourth one, if you can ever get it, is if it's an IPO, like less than 2 years old. Then that's like a holy trinity plus 1, and then you're really in a good spot. Make sense? So I would keep this on watch for a day 2. I doubt it moves as clean as it did on Friday, but it's going to be nice. So SPLK, number 2, PDD, number 1. All right? VTIQ, man, this thing is hot to trot. Look at this. You got big breakout, pull back to the 9 EMA. You got curls for the girls. Man, I think this one, you could get this thing back into the 30s very, very quickly. That one looks pretty good. Where's the other one? Man, Chewy's got a nice kind of range break here. This one's been trailing the market the last few days. It's finally starting to kind of break out of its trend line. This is also an IPO. It's a 2001, 2019 issue, so it's still a fairly new company. $16 billion market cap, so it's a little bit of a mid cap for the most part. But this one moves really well. I would keep that on the list. I was hoping for a gap down on this ENPH today. Tap this thing into 20. If it fades back a little bit, I'll watch this one for a double bottom. I do think this one's probably in a bounce mode today. It was trending down all day yesterday. But if it comes back and fills the gap a little bit here, I think this one's a buy with a stop under the 20 SMA. We'll get this thing going. We'll shred this thing pretty good. And then this Tesla is tighter than... This Tesla's tight. You can see here, you got a big trend line break here. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests. if this thing cooks over 840 at some point, it's going to move really fast. The other thing with Tesla too is at certain levels, they'll just turn the algos on that bad boy. And even though it's like a bigger cap name, they'll turn the algos on that bad boy. You'll get like a $10, $15, move in like a couple minutes, and it could trend $20, $30 in like half hour if they really want to juice it. Watch that 840 mark. That's like a very, very key spot. If it starts to hold there and you start to build there, I think you're gonna be good to go on that bad boy. What do you think? Yeah. Cool. And then, I think we get day 2 playing this Twilio, but we got room up to about 230. You just can't chase any of the gaps on this. Our plan for today, and it has to be like this, we can't chase the market up 500 points. So we got to wait for it to pull back. We'll try a couple probably fades at the open on some names like Penn or something, and my daily Penn deposit. We'll try some fades at the open. As soon as the market pulls back to 9 or 20 EMA, we'll start to see how it holds. And if it starts to build, then we'll take this thing back to the upside. In the meantime, we don't have to have a crazy list. There's more than enough news plays out there with NVAX and some of these bad boys. Yes, the pot stocks are starting to heat up. Man, I royally screwed up this TLRY on Friday. Man, I had so many shares of this thing. I kept selling it. I sold it for like 2 seconds before it started to rip. It had a nice VWAP play, so the range is good. I would keep this still on your watch list, all the pot stocks. They may need a day of rest here because they are up like 5-6 days in a row. But, they're in play. I just don't think today's the day for them. I think a day or two of rest on, ACB and some of these names will be super helpful. Everybody's asking about this Roku. Yeah, Roku should bounce as long as it holds 106. Yeah, it should bounce as long as it holds 106. So you got a chance on Roku. You're at support here. Frankly, in this market, it's a long-only market for the most part, more than a few minutes. So these stocks that are like sitting on support, they are getting picked up. So like a name like Roku, it hasn't gone yet. So it's got a chance to go. If you look at like Space, Space is another stock that's like sitting, like it's not trending. And I prefer to be in trenders, but these kind of stocks, they are getting picked up. So Space is another one where, it hasn't followed with the market. Neither has Roku. And these are like kind of, big name cult type of stocks. So they at some point should get picked up. Yeah, I would think that, today could be a good day for Space. So that's on the list. Roku could be a bouncer today too. I think those are all going to be pretty solid. Yeah, I didn't see any good down gappers, and frankly, the ORB to the downside has not worked as well because it's working, but it's like working for like 10, 15 minutes. So you're just not getting that trend. Yo, seriously though, who do we got to write to move Memorial Day to like a Friday? This is crazy. A Monday? We got to work on Tuesday? Jeez. I'll write a letter to somebody, that's for sure. I got to move Memorial Day to at least a Saturday. It's crazy to have it on Monday. Yeah, TRY, CGC, they all look pretty good. Yo, this TTD could be another one that's like really ready to bust. If you see here. Yeah, it's coming out of this flag here, and then its ATH is like 325. When it goes, it goes. The float on this is only 20 million. When it goes, it goes. So you keep an eye on this one. Like this one could just shred just out of the gate at some point. So I like that one a lot too. BYND, this is my last idea. We've been watching this one for a while. It's been just hugging on this 9. This thing is ready to go. I think today could be the day. We can't chase this one up too. As you know with BYND, it'll spike $5 and then just fade back. We got to let this thing pull. If it pulls, we good. What do you think? Cool. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. We don't got anything else. We got no ideas. We got nothing. We got nothing. That's the list. Anybody need it? Hold on. I'm inflexible. 5-26. Good, good, good. Usman, yes. Got that on the list too. Cool. Yeah, Roku's on the list. Roku's on the list. Twilio's on the list. I mean, the list is getting pretty big, but we can't have everything. One thing to keep an eye on. There was an IPO out on There was an IPO on Friday, this Nari, and it had like actually some pretty good range. Usually a lot of IPOs are like duds on that first day. It had a fairly good range on this, like 39 to 48, pulled back to 42. Like that I'd keep an eye on this one for potential day trades. It's not something you want to really invest in because we don't know anything about it, but this is probably got a good shot for some day trades. Yeah, I like this one. So add that to the list too, and we're good. So guys, that's the list. I'm sticking to it. Memorial Day should be on a Saturday. Guys, stay safe. And remember, the gap in the market is going to make things very tricky. Don't get all hot and bothered at the open and just start, clicking buttons. We're going to need to let the market pull back and come back to us. We are just in a runaway market. I mean, I guess the virus never existed. Who knows? We're in a runaway market, man. If you saw all these people just massaging each other and making out all boozed up on the beach the other day, you would think that nothing has ever happened in this world. Who knows what's going on? But the market is in a runaway, and we have to respect the trend, but we don't want to chase anything. So just let things kind of settle at the open, and we're going to get this thing going, all right? Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.